Welcome to Small Business Saturdays video series with your host and my husband.
And my dad, Aaron Montgomery.
Join the conversation.
Let's talk some business.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome into another edition of Small Business Saturday. We are up and at it a little bit earlier this morning than normal. So 7 a.m. Central Time here. Hopefully everybody is off to a great Saturday if you're up and about. If you are checking the recorded replay, #replay version of this, certainly whatever time, wherever you are, hopefully it is a wonderful time happening there. So good morning. My name's Aaron Montgomery, and you can find me over at oursuccessgroup.com. And those of you catching the video version right up there. Today, I want to talk to you guys about the pitfalls of a one-page business plan. And today's not really about picking on the one-page business plan and all the negatives. And so obviously the title of the show seemed to indicate that we were going to be a little negative here this morning, but that's certainly not the case at all. In fact, I am not, excuse me, I have hair on my cheek there. I'm not a hater of the one-page business plan. I've got mine right here, a copy of it here. So what I want to talk to you today about is more about the planning part of your business. It's more about the things that we do to work on our business. And to me, the one-page business plan it kind of gets not really a bad rap. It causes some potential pitfalls if you let it. So that's what I wanted to talk to you about today is how do we best work on our business, not always in our business, and where the one-page business plan fits into that. So looking forward to having that conversation with you guys. Again, for those of you that are newer to Small Business Saturdays here, good morning, Tony and Curtis, good morning. We are up bright and early today. We are myself, my mom who's in town from Prescott, Arizona, and my family. We are heading up to Indiana this weekend. My mom's family, my mom's side of the family is having their family reunion here this weekend. And so we'll see how that goes. Not a huge family reunion. In fact, already knowing that a few people aren't going to be able to make it, just safety concerns and whatnot, and certainly makes sense. But anyhow, we're going to be up there in Galveston, Indiana this weekend to enjoy a little bit of family time. So looking forward to that. So that's why we're up so bright and early here this morning, Curtis. But back to what I was saying about Small Business Saturdays. So those of you that are a little newer to it, or maybe you forgot, really the point here, the point for me of being able to bring this to you every week and try to cover different topics is these are topics I want to explore personally too. So I just want everybody to understand that the things that I'm saying are not like me talking down to you or me preaching to you or whatever. So if they come across like that, I apologize. I will work on that. But these things that I want to talk about in these Small Business Saturdays is to share information and to start the conversation. So I want to hear your guys' take on this and what you're doing in your business as the planning side of it. What do you do? So let's get back to it here. Let's dive right in. Again, one-page business plan here. I am a fan of it at a certain level. So let's start there. So what I've found as a little head scratching to me is the folks out there. In fact, I think we have a few even in our industry here that say, okay, just here's a template for a one-page business plan, or here, do this. And that's going to be, and you're good to go is the sense that I get. I don't know if that's exactly what they're trying to say. I can't read their mind, but that's the sense that I get, is that people get this notion that, okay, you fill in a one-page thing with a little bit of information and your business is going to be successful. No problem. And away you go. It's a magic bullet, right? And that's where I have a little bit of a concern about it, where I find that it's a pitfall because, and I've done this myself, you kind of go through the process, you get excited. Okay, I've got this template. I've got this one-page plan that I'm going to do. I'm going to get my why and my mission. I'm going to talk about the people. I'm going to get a few goals down on paper. I'm going to talk a little bit about my marketing, put a budget down, maybe some operations stuff. Yes, it's a nice, clear, concise picture. And that part's great that you have that. I've known people that just take theirs and laminate it and here's my business plan and that's great. And that's all well and good. But to me, that's just the start. That's just where you want to start because, like, for example, the marketing side of our business, you need to have a bit more than just this much of a piece of paper, and I'm holding up about 3 inches worth here of a piece of paper taken to understand what your marketing is, because marketing is a lot more about it's a lot more about who your customers are, understanding your niche, and things like that, as opposed to I'm going to post 20 times on Facebook and these kinds of things. So what we need to do in our marketing plan is we need to make sure that we are digging in a little bit deeper. And so when we talk about a one-page business plan, that's a perfect place to start for sure, because you have that big over-level high 30,000 foot view of what the intention is. And certainly that's way better than nothing at all. But again, for me, what's happened to me is I've checked the box, okay, I did the one-page business plan. I've checked the box and now I'm good to go. And then I look back and I go, why aren't we moving forward anymore? Why are we stalled out a little bit here? And in fact, this is one of the things I'm pretty excited about this weekend is the fact that I'm going to have a little bit of car time. And fortunately, my wife is kind enough to do some driving for me. And so I'm going to take some time to refocus a little bit, get a little bit deeper into the business plan for our success group. Because, I feel like we've gotten to a point now where we built a few things, but ran into a couple of roadblocks or, got to a couple of places, things happen. We're all kind of pivoting a little bit and doing all this other stuff. And I feel like I've gotten away from it a little bit. And I need to get back to the basics of business, which means that if I want my business to grow, if I want my business to succeed, I have to first figure out in my mind, through doing some research, writing things down, getting clear on things, I have to figure out in my mind what that looks like first and what all the details of that are first. And then go out and attempt, take the actions, and then take the results of those actions, make some tweaks on the business plan, and do it all over again and keep that cycle going. And so with the one-page business plan, I feel like we inhibit that cycle of planning, taking the action, measuring the results, adjusting, doing it over again. All right. So that's the first thing, is that it kind of gets marked done, and that's not the case. So if that's not the case, what's next? How do we next approach this? So before I get to that, I want to catch a couple of comments here real quick. And for those of you that are listening in, maybe on the podcast version or checking the replay, you always want to make sure that you are trying to catch it live when you can. I know 7 a.m. is early. In fact, it's 5 a.m. over on the West Coast for folks. But in fact, Joseph is on the West Coast, but he's probably just going to bed here. So let's start there with Joseph's comment. I wrote business plans in school and business classes, but never did it for any of my businesses. I thrive off chaos. See, that's an interesting take, Joseph. And, this is the best part about, and this is what I love about Small Business Saturdays. And honestly, the opportunity that I get to talk to people is that you can take in difference of opinions and different ideas. The challenge with what you've got going on there, Joseph, is that the chaos, you've got lots of different things going on, and the chaos of it. And while you may be able to thrive in that, I would guess that if you can step back and do a little planning. Now, knowing Joseph, he's a pretty smart, calculated guy. So he's doing business planning in probably a different way than what we might think of as something that you wrote down in school and business classes. And I guess that leads me to the next thing. And I'll get to Tony, some of your comments here in just one second. But Joseph, that's a great way to lead into this is just says, I wish I was a better planner. Well, but again, Joseph, you're a pretty smart, calculated guy from my conversations with you. So you're probably doing it in your head more so than you think. And so, yeah, let me get to this point. That's perfect. Part of business planning is the fact that we have a preconceived notion about what business planning is, and it comes from schools and classes and what we've heard and maybe seen in a movie or whatever. And what when I talk about business planning, I'm talking about it in a sense that it's not necessarily got to be this official, here's the template, do it this way, all this other stuff. What I'm talking about is your business plan or just kind of planning out what you're going to be doing is a more broad picture, and it can look a lot different for a lot of different people, but you have to do it. And so that takes me to this point where my recommendation and what I've seen be successful and what I know for me has been successful is if I can dedicate 15% of my time, 15% of the time that I work on my business to the planning side of it. And again, call it whatever you want, call it, whatever. Yeah. I'm just drew a blank on what, what things you can call it. You can call it whatever you want though. But when I talk about business planning, that's the effect of working on the business, meaning the time spent doing things like, okay, what are my goals? The time spent doing things like, okay, what is the plan for, the holidays are going to be coming up way sooner than I realize. What am I going to do when October, November hits? What's going to be my offering? What are going to be my promotions? Who am I going to be targeting? How can I grow my business? Those kinds of things. So you've got, doing things like working on your goals, working on your marketing. Maybe you're getting some more detailed processes in place, so in Joseph's case, you got a lot of chaos, but there's certain things that, you're going to do the same way every time. When that order comes in, how does it get from point A to point B? And the time spent working on that, making that more efficient is going to be time saved, and documenting that so that you have that, going in your head. Because here's what I'm a big proponent of, I'm a big fan of, even for folks that are not big planners, is the simple act of just writing it down is a very, very important thing. So even if you're not a planner, I still suggest just write it down. If you can write it down and actually use that and post it or put it in a book or that's all fine and dandy. But if you don't make it to that part, just at least write it down, because what the writing it down does is the process of writing it down, it makes your brain actually do something different with it than just thinking it. So if I think it, great. But if I can then think it and then write it down, that connects a whole different level of things in our brain. And it becomes more now part of our subconscious because it's been put out there and it's in something more tactile. It's a written format, it's a typed whatever. And then once you've done that, now that kind of gets logged into your subconscious, and your subconscious now will take that and work on it for you. And that's a huge part of achieving and moving forward and growing and learning, is to allow our subconscious to, okay, we wrote that out. There was a couple of areas that seemed a little fuzzy. Yes, you're going to have, that's the aha moment. That's the, I'm in the shower, I wish I had something to write on. Or that's the, I wake up in the middle of the night thinking about it. Those are the aha moments. And those aha moments come from the fact that you've logged that in your subconscious by writing it down. You've told your subconscious, hey, I need a little help with this. It's worth remembering it because it's worth writing down, and then you go from there. So that's what planning is to me, and that's what business planning is to me, and that's why I say it's a constant evolving thing that it wants to always be living and growing. So let me get back to a couple more comments here. Tony, let's get this one here. I've been in business for 3 years and I run it out of my house, and it's just me and my girlfriend. Perfect. No matter what size your business is, no matter what your goals are, even if it is just a high side hustle or something like that, if it's a business that is in the business of making money, so it's actually a business, not a hobby, your goal is to someday make money, even if you are not right now, you absolutely should have some form of planning. And then we go on to note here that Tony says, I plan a year in advance. So there you go. That's your planning. That's your business planning. And again, whatever form that takes for you, that's great. Now, for me, I've come up with 5 different key areas that I want to be working on as constantly as I can. And we actually presented that through our success group for our members and stuff like that. So we can talk about that. But again, whatever that looks like for you, that's the important part. Not what I'm saying, not whatever works for your business, but the fact that you're working on the business and you're planning. Again, if you can spend at least 15% of your time doing some form of planning for your business, that is going to give you such a much better opportunity for success. So anyhow, Joseph says, you're right. I probably do it in my head and never realize it. About every quarter, I think about where I'm at and where I want to be. So there you go. You are a business planner, Joseph. Little closet business planner here. Just kidding. Yeah. And again, I've been fortunate enough to be around enough people that you can kind of see the folks that are like, yeah, they're thinking that through. So I kind of figured you were you were doing that. Now, Joseph, if you were to take that one step further and actually maybe put it down on paper, you're probably doing some sort of that. But again, for me, I've noticed and I've read a lot of research and I've heard a lot of other people talk about the fact that if we can write it down, that does something more for us, and it gives us that ability to allow it to be in the back of our minds and let our brains work on that. And then when the time comes, when the time is right, you will get that aha moment. So that's pretty cool. Tony says, I'm always thinking about how I can make my business better. Failure is not an option. Perfect. Yep. And those are all things. Now, again, for me, what I'm talking about here and why the topic here was avoiding the pitfalls of a one-page business plan is if you can take those things, that I'm always thinking about making my business better, or, doing it in my head every quarter for Joseph or things like that. And you can actually not formalize it. Formalize it is the word that's coming to my mind right now. But I don't want it to feel stuffy. So what I want you to do is make that a process. Make that I don't know, a religious experience where, it's quarterly for Joseph, for example, and every quarter he's doing that and he's thinking about it. But maybe put it on the calendar, or maybe, have a time where it doesn't matter what's going on. We set aside the time to make sure that in regular intervals, we're going back and we're doing that. How are we going to make our business better? What's coming up this quarter? What do I need to be working on? What's the next big thing? What do my customers want? What do my, what kind of partnerships do I need to build? All across the board, there's lots of things that we can do to work on our business. But the reason why 15% is a number that I always use is because the studies show that for every project, for everything, the first 15 to 20% of all the work that is done on it is the most important part of it, meaning that's where the most value lies. So if we can take and use 15% of our time, that first 15% of our time, to think about it, and then the taking action, the getting the orders out the door, the customer service, the emails, the actually posting on Facebook, the sending the email blasts, the whatever the in your business stuff is, then you go from there. And that's the working in your business part. The working on your business part are those things that I mentioned, where we're thinking about what our goals are. We're thinking about what the next big thing is. We're thinking about and planning out who our customers are, what our niche market is, who the target is. Working on improving my processes, working on strengthening my relationships with the people involved, and all of those things. So that's the working on your business, and that's the part that we want to get to. So, all right. Let's see here. Joseph says, king of sticky notes. All right, lots of stuff, just not formalized. Yep. But the cool part about it, Joseph, is your sticky notes and how you do that. I'm sure without even knowing it, you have some sort of a system, like, these ones go here, these ones go here. I carry these with me, whatever it is for you. That's human nature, is that we all have our own little systems, and we might think that it's chaotic and not formalized, but in our brains, there are systems that occur. That's what we are. We're creatures of systems and habits, and what people that think that they go wander about and take different routes to work and all that other stuff. There's always a pattern. The world is made up of patterns. So we just have to be in tune with our pattern, and then we can have better success, because it feels more free and more us, so get your pattern, get your system down, and that will make this go a lot better. Okay. All right. So I didn't have a huge amount of stuff to talk about here today. I wanted to basically hit those two main points, though, that I'm encouraging everybody to try to focus 15% of your business time on the act of planning. However that works for you, however that looks for you, then that's perfect. There is not a right or wrong. Everybody's going to have their own system, their sticky notes, their thinking about it, their, whatever it is that their system is. For me, it's a whiteboard. You see the whiteboards behind me. I get this craziness of things come to my mind, and I just sketch all this stuff out. My handwriting's terrible. I'm left-handed, and nobody can hardly read it except for me. And then I take pictures of it, and then I try to break that down into something that actually makes sense for somebody else. And that's basically the way that my process works, But what your process is going to be completely up to you. So, and just says, Andrew, right, I'm about to go to bed. Sir, have a great weekend. Enjoy, get some rest, and we will catch up with you next week. All right. So that's the main part of what I wanted to talk to everybody about this morning. If you guys have, what are your systems? What are the things that you do? Joseph says sticky notes, quarterly. Tony mentioned that yearly. I plan a year in advance. Tony, what does that look like, though? What does that planning process look like? Planning a year in advance is great. What are the check marks along the way? What are the milestones? What are the things that you're doing along the way that help you get to that year plan and whatnot? So whatever anybody else has, I think Todd was checking in over here on our success group. Yo, good morning. So what do you guys have? While you guys are typing that stuff in for me, I did mention that we've talked about this over at our success group. And so I wanted to make sure that I shared that. So we've done 2 5 keys so far with our success group. And in September, we will have our third round of 5 keys. The very first one was the 5 keys of growing and launching and growing your business, where we talked about things like understanding your overhead, how to price your product, the operations, getting more efficient in your operations. We talked about the follow-up, the point of after the job is done and the delivery and follow-up. And then we kind of got a little high-level overview of marketing in general in that first 5 keys. But then the second 5 keys is where I really got to, and Todd helped me put a lot of this together. But I think he knew how geeked up I was about this whole process. So he was kind enough to let me be my crazy self. And we got to talk about the business planning, where we talked about starting with our why, and we talked about the people, and then we talked about setting goals, and then we talked about marketing more, and we talked about setting our budgets. And so we did that in the 5 keys. And then the 5 keys coming up in September will be all about marketing, where we're talking about everything that you need to be doing in marketing. And we're doing it specifically in September because we want to give our members the tools to have the best holiday that they can. So we're excited about that coming up in September. So if you're interested in becoming a member, because as a member, you get all of the training that we've done, plus the upcoming training. And so you have access to all of that. And let me find the right banner here. So I'll put it right there. If you go to rsuccessgroup.com/memberships, and if you become a member, whatever price you're at when you become a member, right now the monthly membership is $50, or if you just want to pay for a full year in advance, it ends up being about $24.91 per month. So you pay a total of $299. And so if you become a member, then that price that you pay right there is the price that is going to be your price for the lifetime of your membership. Now, pricing will be going up. The normal annual membership is actually $1,000, and the normal monthly membership is $100 a month. So, when those prices go back up, then that will be the price at that time, and they will be soon going up. So I encourage you to check out there. But if for whatever reason the membership thing is not for you and you want to just go get the 5 keys, you can go to rsuccessgroup.com/5 keys, and you can just get just the business planning, or you can sign up just for the growing and launching section. You can sign up to be part of the upcoming September program. So you can do that too. Your best value is certainly going to be in the memberships. I mean, it's just the way that it is. And so look for those things. I want you to go check those things out and go from there. So let's see here. Todd says, at this point, we're taking it daily. Currently, we are on the verge of going back to phase 3 because of raising cases. Oh, which are you talking? Oh, are you talking about Todd, I'm assuming you're talking about what's going on in the plan there in Illinois because of COVID. So maybe I'm missing that. Tony says we are in phase 2. I think I totally missed some comment somewhere. So apologize. Mildred, good morning. And Sarah said, almost missed it. I'll have to watch the replay. Have a great day, everybody. Thanks for being here quickly. Yeah, we got off to a little extra early start here this morning. Because I'm going to be getting on the road to head up to Indiana with the family here. So wanted to start early, and we were supposed to have volleyball this morning, but that got canceled last minute this week because of everything going on with COVID and some of the rising cases. So anyways, all right. So what else do you guys have? What do you guys do when it comes to business planning? Who's done a one-pager? And what are the pitfalls that you ran into there? Did it stop you? Did it go, okay, in my head, I've checked it off, I'm done? Or was it just a good jumping off point? And so with that, and yes, Sarah, definitely. Thank you very much. I will have a great trip, and we will get this COVID thing behind us soon, I hope. All right. So let's all cross the fingers, and we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Todd says, yes, sorry. What we can do today, we might not be able to do tomorrow because of restrictions. Yes, indeed. So take advantage of what you can. And we all will be masked up for the event. So it'll be good. All right. Sorry to yell at everybody there real quick. I think that's about it. That's all I have for you today. And next week on Small Business Saturday, I'm actually going to have Todd joining me, and we are actually going to talk about goal setting. We've been really impressed with everybody who's been part of the Success Tracker program. Todd says, without you or a business plan, I'd have screen printing by now. Maybe not a bad thing, but who knows where that fits into your business. So why don't you plan it out first, and then if it makes sense, if the numbers work, right, Todd? Okay. So back to what I was talking about for next week. Next week, we'll be talking about goal setting and some very specifics about how it works and how we can best take advantage of several things. The biggest part is, and this is what I'm getting into a lot more in my life here, is that while our brain is a great tool and a great thing to have, obviously, you want to have a brain. We need a brain to survive. Our brain can also be something that totally gets in our way, especially when it comes to businesses and especially when it comes to doing more. Their studies show that by the time we turn, I think it was 9 years old, we've been told no 40,000 times compared to being told yes about 5,000 times, something like that. I'll have to get the exact details, but because of that, our brain kind of gets conditioned, and so we go, okay, I'm starting a business. I want it to be great, and then all of a sudden our brain goes, oh, that's scary. You're going to get told no. It's not going to work, and so what if we can do goal setting in a very specific way, which we'll cover next week? We can, I don't know, trick our brain is not really exactly what I'm going for, but in a way we can trick our brain into going, okay, yep, let's get to work on that. That makes more sense than, oh, let's just start a business and see how it goes. So it all kind of flows along in this business planning thing. But next week, I'm excited to bring Todd on. Like I said, we've been really impressed with everybody that's taken part in the Success Tracker. In fact, let me put that up if I find that real quick. So if you go over to oursuccessgroup.com/success tracker, with that, that's just it's an accountability tool. It's $20, or if you're an OSG member, it's only $1. But it's a way to get real specific, and it's a way to have some accountability, to have some support, to have some community, and to have some fun along the way. So we've been in the Success Tracker program. So we've got people in it that have been in it for about a month, maybe 2 months, maybe a little bit more, maybe 2.5 months now. And so I want to bring Todd on next week to talk about what we're seeing and how impressed we are, and be able to help some people grow and work on their goals, but then also help you guys understand about how to get real specific about it and how to best make it work and to get into the details of it. So yes, Todd, it will be at normal time of 8 a.m. next week. So 8 a.m. Central Time, 7 a.m. Mountain Time, 6 a.m. Pacific, and 9 a.m. Eastern Time for those of you in those different time zones. And so that will be at 8 o'clock. We'll be talking about goal setting next week. All right. And I think that's about it. I think that will do it for me today. If you guys need to reach out, I will put the email address up right there. If anybody needs to reach out to me, have any questions, success@oursuccessgroup.com. I am actually going to probably not be around as much this weekend because I'm doing the family stuff. So might be Monday before I get back to you. But if you need anything, certainly reach out to me, success@oursuccessgroup.com. Todd also gets those emails as well. So either one of us can get back to you and definitely do our best to help you with your business. Again, our goal is to provide resources that empower over 1,000 businesses to achieve their idea of success. So we'd love for you to be part of that. And thanks everybody for all of their time. Good morning, Sandy. Yep. Sorry, we got off to an early start. For those of you that are going to have to watch the replay, I did have to get going a little earlier this morning. So I don't like changing the time too much if I can avoid it, because I know that messes with everybody's schedule, but had to do it today. So in fact, Sandy, I'm heading towards Indiana. So All right, guys, you guys have a great weekend. And again, if you need to reach me, success@oursuccessgroup.com. And we'll look forward to talking to you guys again next week. Don't forget the next upcoming program for our success group is Tuesdays with Todd. And Todd, I can't remember exactly what. Oh, you're going to decals, I believe. Yeah, decals. Todd's going to be talking about decals, maybe even showing us some stuff and giving us some tools to use decals to make some money, especially with whatever school is going to look like coming up here, at least here in our area, in less than a month. The kids will be going back to some form of school. And right now, our kiddos going back to actual school, but there is the option to do the virtual learning as well. So look forward to that on Tuesdays with Todd. And then on Wednesday, we've got our Success Group members training. So you got to be a member to be part of that. So again, go over to oursuccessgroup.com, and we are going to be talking about photography, how to take photography without breaking the bank, take good photography of your products without breaking the bank. We've got some different setups. We're going to talk about kind of dialing in the smartphone and some other things like that. So Todd's done a great job getting this one together. I'm going to talk a little bit about using Photoshop to do some editing, and just a nice, good overview of how you get your product images to pop a little bit more, which now that we're all moving to online selling and e-commerce, our images are hugely important. In fact, one study that I read showed that 97% of all purchasing decisions online are based off of the photography, not the description. So you got to get that photography good, and that's what we're going to be talking about on Wednesday the 5th. So if you want to be part of that, just go over to oursuccessgroup.com and sign up for a membership. All right, everybody, have a great rest of your weekend, and we will talk to you again next week.